I was sharing with a friend some of the dilemmas we are facing as a church as we grapple with all this uncertainty in the lead up to Christmas. And in turn, he shared with me the turmoil that his family is currently facing. He has a brother who he described as an anti-vaxxer. His brother is married and has a family who are all vaccinated, but he is refusing to do so. So his wife has basically given him an ultimatum: get vaccinated or move out. And my friend was telling me that his brother is leaning towards moving out. Now, I wouldn't describe my friend as an emotional kind of guy, but I could see the emotion welling up when he went on to say, my brother is willing to put his marriage on the line. For what? For what? Now, that's a very good question. I'm a Carlton supporter. I have been all my life. And so when I heard that one of our best players, who was in the prime of his career, decides to quit rather than be vaccinated, I'm like, oh man, what is it with my team? It's just like they don't want to win. Now, as a minister of the gospel, I'm very conscious that I have a pastoral role to play here. So I'm more than happy to sit and to listen and to try to understand the other point of view. But to do so is never easy, is it? You know, I think of Mary, the mother of Jesus, who, while pledged to be married to Joseph, finds herself pregnant through the Holy Spirit. So how do you go about telling your future husband something like that? Now, Matthew's gospel spares us all the gory details, but even so, I think it's pretty clear that Joseph didn't believe her at first. Yet, despite what he believed about his young wife to be, how does he respond? Well, this is what he doesn't do. He doesn't publicly shame her by putting her on trial, which, by the way, was the legal process for these types of matter. Nor does he try to muddy her name to clear his own. Instead, he resolves to divorce her quietly rather than casting blame. And it's at this stage of the story, when all looks lost, that the angel of the Lord appears to Joseph in a dream. Joseph, son of David, the angel said, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, for the child within her was conceived by the Holy Spirit, and she will have a son, and you are to name him Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins. Joseph, son of David. Now, it'd be easy just to gloss over Joseph's heritage here and to quickly move on to the part about Jesus. But everything that is about to happen hinges on those four words: Joseph, son of David. In other words, for this to work, for God's story to continue, God needs Joseph. And God needs him to believe Mary. Because if Joseph doesn't, if instead he wakes up and shakes his head and goes to the courthouse to file the divorce papers, then Mary will become an outcast forever, which means she'll either be killed by her family for disgracing them and herself, or disowned by them and left to scratch out a living however she can, feeding herself and her illegitimate child on whatever she can beg or steal. So God needs Joseph to claim the child, but not biologically, but legally. For if someone says, "This is my son," states Jewish law, then it is so. So yes, Joseph's part in the story is as crucial to the story as Mary, for it will take both parents to give birth to this remarkable child. Mary to give him life, and Joseph to give him a name, Jesus, son of David, from whose house, states the prophet Isaiah, the Messiah shall come. And so what does Joseph do? What does he decide? Well, for those of us that have grown up in the church and heard this story time and time and time again, we know the answer, don't we? That Joseph did as the angel of the Lord had commanded him. He takes Mary to be his wife and names the child Jesus. And the way that he does this, it grabs my attention every Christmas. He encounters an angel of the Lord in his sleep, of all places, in a dream. But that's enough for him, that when he awakes, he immediately does as the angel commands. That blows my mind. All it took is one dream. And Joseph goes from untrusting to trusting, from unbelief to belief, from bystander to active participant. And in doing so, he becomes one more of God's people who is willing to smuggle Jesus into the world. Meister Eckhart was a German theologian who lived in the late 13th century. And he wrote this. Now, his language is a little old-fashioned, but I still think you'll pick up what he's trying to convey. We are all meant to be mothers of God. What good is it to me, he continues, if this eternal birth of the divine Son takes place unceasingly, but does not take place within myself? And what good is it to me for the Creator to give birth to his Son if I do not also give birth to him in my time and my culture? Now, that's a great question. This then, states Eckhart, is the fullness of time, when the Son of God is begotten in us. When the Son of God is begotten, when the Son of God is brought into existence in us. It's an incredible challenge. This idea that you and I can smuggle Jesus into our world. In her book, Good Gospel Medicine, Barbara Brown Taylor gives a modern day twist to Meister Eckhart. And this is what she writes. When God gives to us a dream, God also graciously gives to us a choice to say yes or no. So let's say for a moment you choose to say no, to ignore the angel, preferring instead to pretend that nothing ever happened. And if you succeed in this, your life may be an easy one, but be assured that no angels will trouble you ever again. Now, I'm not so sure about that last little bit, to be honest. I'm convinced that God just keeps hounding you, that God keeps chasing you. But I do agree with what she has to say next. Or you can decide to say yes. You can decide to be a daredevil, a test pilot, a gambler, the one who listens to a strange creature's strange idea. Yes, you can decide to take part in a plan you did not choose, doing things you do not know how to do for reasons you do not entirely understand. You can take part in a thrilling and dangerous scheme with no script and no guarantees. And in doing so, you can agree to smuggle God in the world inside your own body. So what will it be? What way will you choose this Christmas? The somewhat messy way by smuggling God into your world? Or will you choose to play it safe? That I'll leave with you. May God bless you.